Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Start Sit live stream here Thursday, heading into week 10. I am still filling in for Joey P. Ryan Wormeli, of course, and I'm joined by D-Bro. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, man? It's a good Thursday. It's a good time. And I will say, congrats to everybody. We made it. It's halfway. We're officially halfway through the NFL season. And you could hear that and it could grace your ears. And you could either be happy, as most content creators are, like, hee, woo, ha. Or you could be sad because, like all of us, we're like, oh, it's almost like Christmas morning after you've opened a few presents and you're sitting there like, it's half over. It's half over.
Should I take this to mean that you didn't have fun writing the primer this week?
Actually, it was a good week, dude.
Yeah.
I was done. The computer was closed last night by 8 o'clock. I got a chance to sit here and watch some TV and chill.
For those who want to go read D-Bro's very hard work, the primer is live on the site, FantasyPros.com. We're going to be talking some Start Sit today, answering as many questions as we possibly can, as you and Joey P usually are doing at this time every Thursday, all NFL season long. You know, we're halfway through the NFL season. We're more than halfway through the fantasy season. There's like 5 weeks left in most of my leagues until the fantasy playoffs, which is remarkable and depressing.
All I heard was you only have 5 weeks left. Like, do you not have a lot of teams making the playoffs right now, Worm?
I actually do have a lot of teams making the playoffs. I don't have a lot of first place teams. I have a lot of like third place teams. I have a couple of first place teams. Don't get me wrong. I played enough leagues that I should have a few, but a lot of playoff teams. Maybe we'll see how many actual title teams I have. I did just beat my mom in our family league this last week to stay undefeated in the family league, by the way. And she is visiting me this
Hold
week.
up. So since you beat her and now you're talking smack, can she, one, hear you from the other room? And number two, is she going to throw your laundry back into the washing machine?
She is visiting and she is maybe doing some chores while I host this show. Hopefully she's
Steph cackling behind the curtain here. Yeah. As we were both all just kind of like giving you crap for stuff before we went live here.
Yeah, pulling the curtain back. I won't bore anybody else with how I'm doing in my leagues. We want to hear how you're doing in your leagues.
We're talking about your laundry. My bad.
How we can help. Okay, time with the laundry too. I do want to let everybody know though before we dive in, we're excited to let you know that we have rolled out super chats. If you have burning questions, this is your chance to get them answered. To make sure we can address them all, we are only guaranteeing responses to all super chats that come in during the first 10 minutes of the show. So if you want us to tackle your question, send those in early. Obviously, we're going to get to as many as we can. And even as they come in beyond those first 10 minutes, you know, we're going to go through as many questions as we possibly can. But we are guaranteeing those super chats will get answered if they come in the first 10 minutes of the show. D-Bro, should we dive right in?
Yeah, dude. And I'll add on top of that, I've been trying to go back and I've seen people have asked a few of those super chats, like in the comments and stuff, like afterwards. I try to go back and I try to answer as many or all of them after the fact too. So we really appreciate the support, man. That's been awesome.
100%. We super appreciate it. And also Discord is another great way to get your stuff answered. D-Bro is on there. Erickson, Fitz, Joe, Welsh, Maye. I mean, they all have AMA channels on there and they will answer your questions as much as they possibly can. That's fantasypros.com/chat, as you can see there on the graphic. All right, let's dive into some questions here. We'll start off with one of these super chats from King Andrew. Hey, pros, who to start this week, Tua or Daniel Jones? And then also who to keep rest of season, Love or Geno? He points out that Love's schedule maybe not so good. Also, one more question, drop Mason or Garendo. So we'll get to all of these here. Let's start with Tua or Daniel Jones this week.
Man, I think that if you need absolute ceiling, like you're in a terrible, tough matchup and you need a ceiling outcome, I like Daniel Jones in that. But I think in most instances, I'm playing Tua over him. I just worry at some point, Worm, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. Like, I worry at some point if he doesn't play good, if we ever see Drew Lock. And I think that is that a high probability versus Carolina? No, but it's still a concern. So
early, like before the season, I would have expected, I would have made a bet that at some point we would see Drew Lock this year. And I'm not sure if I
still don't think that. I mean, it's still possible that we could, man. And as far as Love and Geno, like I'm still riding with Love, man. Like I think both of them are good. I understand the concerns and the health and all that kind of stuff, but like assuming both these guys are fully healthy, I think the answer would still be Love here. And I'm pulling up Green Bay's schedule right now because I don't remember seeing it and being like, oh my gosh, look at the schedule. Like I mean, this schedule doesn't strike fear in my heart, man. Like, after the Bears, they get the 49ers. Okay, that's not great. Miami has been up and down, overall pretty good. Detroit, you could throw the ball on. Love was very limited in that game. Then Seattle, the Saints, the Vikings. Like, I actually really like this schedule, so it's love for me.
Pretty wide gap between Love and Geno in our rest of season ECR, our expert consensus rankings you could check out on the site. Love is at QB6 rest of the season. Geno's QB18. So, and we've actually got, the way we evaluate it, rest of season schedule for Geno is not very good. At least according, we have it at a 1 out of 5 stars. I haven't memorized what those games are, but our rankings.
I'm going to pull it up. I'll look at it right now.
It has both Love and Geno having tough schedules rest of the season, according to our status.
I like Geno's schedule overall. Like some of it, like the 49ers, not great, but he's got 2 meetings with the Cardinals, the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears. Yeah, I definitely like the Love schedule a lot more than Geno's. Yeah. So
and then quickly, would you drop Mason or Garendo?
I mean, you're dropping Garendo out of one of them because I mean, Mason would be the direct handcuff to CMC. You need 2 injuries for Garendo to hit the field. So,
yeah. All right, let's go to another question here. This one from Andy. Start Drake Maye, Matthew Stafford, or Russell Wilson, and then pick 2 also for rest of season. For me, rest of season, I'm picking Maye and Stafford. I don't know if you disagree with that. I know the Steelers did add another receiver. I still kind of feel like I'm expecting Russell Wilson to turn back into a pumpkin. Maybe I will be proven wrong by that. And just also with Stafford getting his receivers healthier again and how much Maye runs, I'm going with those 2 rest of season. This week, what do you think though?
I agree with you. I think rest of season, it is Stafford and it is Drake Maye. I mean, it's just the rushing with Drake Maye. Like that fixes all the things that ail you. Like last week, he didn't have a great passing game, but running for 95 freaking yards will
goes a long way.
Covers up a lot of boo-boos, man. So I agree with you on the guys for the rest of the season. And this week I'm going to go with Stafford, assuming that, we get Puka. And here's the thing. We didn't see Puka last week, whether he was going to play 50, 60, 70% of the snaps. Hopefully another week, like maybe healthier. So yeah, I'm going with Stafford here, and I agree with you on the 2 guys to keep for the rest of the season.
By the way, quickly, Drake Maye, QB 23 in ECR rest of the season. Is that maybe a little bit too low? In his 3 starts, he's been 3 starts that he's finished healthy. QB 10, QB 7, and QB 18. And that worst one of those, QB 18, he rushed for 95 yards. I mean, this seems like a very quality fantasy ass. I'm not saying he should be top 10, but outside the top 20, maybe a couple spots too low. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the problem is that there's just a lot of other really good options.
Would you rather have him or Jameis Winston rest of the season?
Oh, Drake Maye. Because here's the thing. If Jameis continues to play bad, we could see Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Because Jameis is ahead of him right now in ECR. What about?
I actually just moved that in my ranks. It's funny you brought that up. Like, I moved him ahead of Russ. Actually, like, considering the news that's coming out, I moved him ahead of T-Law, too.
Yeah, I think that's legitimate. All right, let's go to the next question here. This is from Error 404. Have Walker, Taylor, Dobbins, and Mason roster locked because Brooks is still on IR. Drop Mason or Brooks, and then just for fun, Brooks or Keaton Mitchell rest of the season. I am so curious to see what Keaton Mitchell looks like in this Ravens offense, given how good it has been and how good Justice Hill has been. Really, like we knew what to expect out of Derrick Henry largely, but I wonder where they fit in at the same time. Like, imagine that monster in the backfield, like Lamar, Henry, and Mitchell in the backfield at the same time. Seems impossible to stop. So that is a fun question. What do you think about that one?
I mean, I think it's Brooks definitely over Keaton because you need a Henry injury, and you just talked about how good Justice Hill has been. Yeah. Like, neither one of these guys have played any way where they're going to lose their job or lose their snap. So, like,
but it feels like Keaton Mitchell only needs 5 touches and he could break off a 70.
Well, that's a fully healthy Keaton Mitchell too.
Yeah, that's great.
That's not also a Keaton Mitchell that's coming back from a major injury. So, like, I think Justice Hill has done nothing to lose his job.
100%. Hill's also a fantastic pass protector, which Keaton Mitchell is not.
And I would drop Brooks and keep Mason. We've already seen Mason. Like, if anything happens to CMC, he's locked in RB1. Like, the Carolina Panthers, I don't know why they decided to extend Chuba Hubbard, especially at this juncture, but they did. And
I was going to ask, how much does that impact your rest of season ranking on Brooks?
It hurts. I mean, like, Carolina has shown a ton of faith in Chuba, and I'm not telling anybody that he hasn't played good, and I'm not telling anybody that he hasn't earned the contract. But for a team and saying, okay, we just spent second-round capital on a running back, why are you signing him to an extension? Like, and you paid up in the draft to get him. You believe he's a fixture of your organization moving forward, and you go out and spend more money on the running back position? I mean, then, okay, well, then one of two things has to be true here. Either you signing Chuba Hubbard to that extension is a bad move, or drafting Jonathon Brooks where you did in the draft was a bad move, or maybe it's both. But, I mean, either way, it's just, it was a curious move, man. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, even if you like Chuba Hubbard and even if you still like Jonathon Brooks, it's resource allocation. Like, this is not a team that should be investing this much combined draft capital and real life, monetary capital into this position, given where they are right now.
Because it's not like they were top 5 in cap space for next year.
No,
so
and also it's not like these guys are stars. The Eagles invested in running back. This, even aside from the fact that the Eagles are a good team, they got a star running back. The Ravens got a star running back. Chuba Hubbard is good.
Not a star. He's played well.
Saquon Barkley.
He is not a star.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Agreed.
All right. Wide receiver 2, Waddle or Addison? What do you think?
Addison, easy. Like, Waddle's not even on the wide receiver 2 radar for me. Like, straight up. Like, what has he done this entire season? And I think that, like, specifically with Waddle, I really think we are so caught up, and so many people are so caught up with the name cachet of Jaylen Waddle that they're willing to overlook what he's done the entire season. Like, he scored his first touchdown of the entire stinking season last week. I understand Tua was out. Okay. Let's also go back to the fact that he has not surpassed 50 receiving yards in any game since week 1. So, like,
we talked about this on the Thursday show. Myself, Fitz, and Erickson.
You got to get targets to get fantasy points.
They like Waddle better than you do this week. Erickson's view was, imagine if this was week 3, because that's
he's also a Waddle truther, and this is
he
not
loves
week
Waddle.
3.
He's very big on Waddle. Yes. Fitz also does like Waddle this week, though. So those guys do disagree with you. Not like Addison's done a lot either, though. In their defense.
Waddle had 2 targets and -4 receiving yards last week. Like, let that sink in. Like, if you take the name cachet away from Jaylen Waddle and you just look at the production, this is slam dunk Addison.
I'm closer to you, I think, on the Waddle scale, because I kind of feel like I need to miss out on Waddle's first good game. Like, I just don't feel like I can start him until I see it again.
I got to see it, man, because right now, Jaylen Waddle is not the wide receiver 2 in that passing attack. That's either Jonnu Smith or Devon Achane. It's not Jaylen Waddle.
Yeah. Let's go to a question from Abraham. Should I drop Jameson Williams for Amari Cooper, Mahomes for Higgins? What do you think about this one?
It depends on who your QB1 is.
Yeah, for the QB1, it's hard. It depends on who the other quarterback is.
It depends on who your other quarterback is. I'm guessing this is if you have all these options, it's probably like an 18 league. Just kind of reading the tea leaves here. I would drop
the tea leaves for T Higgins.
Yeah, tea.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, that was very nice. I'll take a bow for that. I would keep JMO over Amari Cooper. I mean, Cooper's not healthy right now. He's still trying to get integrated into the offense. JMO has shown spike week potential. I think he falls back into a very prominent role. And dude, Mahomes was a top 5 QB last week, and now DeAndre Hopkins is playing a full-time role. Like, you have to have like that's very an outlier strong QB1. I know.
He's not been good this year for fans.
I know, but the other part about that is Xavier Worthy has been terrible this year, and they regulated him to just a deep field stretching role last week. So, like, I think there are better days ahead for Mahomes finally.
Did you know that was Mahomes' first QB1 finish this year? Not QB1 overall, QB1 as in inside the top 12.
Oh, I mean, I know it's the first time he's surpassed. What did he have? 24 points last week? That's the first
4.5
20-point game in the regular season he has had since week 12 of last year.
His finishes this season: 13, 14, 15, 17, 20, 19, 15, and now 4 last week. It is the outlier, as weird as that is. Another question here from Abraham, back to back. What about Hubbard for Brian Robinson Jr., half PPR?
I mean, I'm keeping Hubbard. One of them's getting snaps and fantasy points, and Brian Robinson Jr. is not fully healthy. And when he's not been healthy, he's been playing like in the mid 30s, maybe 40% of the snaps. So I'm keeping Hubbard there, even though Brooks will be active this week.
Let's get a question in from James. 14-team PPR, 6-3, going against 7-2. His team is injured, has buys as well, needs 2 wide receivers and a flex. Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tipton, D-Rob, Coker, Thielen, Westbrook. Oh, that's his bench / waivers. So all those guys, he needs 2 wide receivers and a flex.
Who the hell is Westbrook?
Westbrook Akine, I assume.
Okay, I was like, what? I was like, my mind went to freaking NBA and players of yesteryear. I am going with Rome Odunze is in.
I think the easiest one by far.
Yeah, that's the easiest one.
Yes.
I'm gonna stay in the flames with DeMarcus Robinson in this because you need the upside. Like all of these other options are not like Tipton's not gonna get enough targets. Wan'Dale Robinson's being, and if Theo Johnson is out this week, then I think Wan'Dale is in. But considering right now, I'm gonna go what we know right now. If Theo Johnson plays, I know he's banged up. I'm going Rome. I'm going DeMarcus Robinson, and I'm going to go Jalen Coker out of these 3.
Man, I was hoping that I would have different picks than you, but I would actually agree. Rome Odunze, easy, not even thinking about it. And I think Robinson and Coker would be my other 2 as well. So
Robinson's been getting his role eaten into by Theo Johnson. So he's very much dependent upon Theo Johnson. Like if Theo Johnson doesn't play, then it's Wan'Dale over Coker, or no, excuse me, over DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
But right now I'm projecting Theo Johnson to play. So it's Coker and Robinson.
You don't think we're getting a 5th straight week of a touchdown from Westbrook Akine?
Good Lord. I can't. Especially if we get Will Levis this week. There's no way in hell I want to invest in a Will Levis passing attack.
I want to quickly remind everybody that we've partnered with Trophy Smack to give away something truly legendary this week. A stunning 36-inch gold column fantasy football trophy. This symbol of fantasy football excellence is the golden standard. With its commanding gold columns and inspiring toppers, it's designed to make winning year after year the goal of everyone in your league. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, drop a comment below on any of our videos, and that's it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can know when new videos are up and to claim your prize. That is a fun
Worm. That trophy is probably taller than the stack of dirty laundry in your house right now.
Oh my gosh. It's not that much laundry in my house.
I just asked. I'm just saying it's taller than it. So yeah, I agree.
Actually, yes, that's true. Yeah, you're just saying there's not a lot of
Yeah, see? Yeah.
You know what? I appreciate
it. I'm trying to give I'm giving you.
All right, let's throw up another question here. Let's get a question from Caitlin. Mooney or Downs?
Okay. I'm going Downs. Assuming that Drake London plays. If Drake London is out, this is Darnell Mooney for me. So there's a little bit of context there.
Do you like Mooney as the top receiving option in the effect that he'll get more defensive attention, or do you almost like him better as a number 2?
I think he can eat if he's the number 1 or the number 2. It just depends. Like I think his ceiling is similar for both. His floor is immensely higher if London's out.
Question here from Rossi, Stroud or Stafford? And also, like, is it worth considering dropping Stroud given what we've seen? I wouldn't drop him now that Nico Collins is finally close to coming back, even if it's not.
You don't drop him. Don't drop him because when Nico comes back, Stroud's gonna. There's been so much context about Stroud's season that I think kind of gets lost in the sauce, like of this season. It's like Houston's been more run heavy, losing Diggs, Tank Dell not being fully healthy to start the year, losing Nico. The offensive line being objectively terrible this year has really, really hurt him. But I'm playing Stafford over Stroud this week, assuming because we did get the report that Nico, I mean, it sounded like he was going to be back this week. It sounded like he was going to play. Now we're getting
early in the week. It's water thrown on that.
Now it's kind of looking like he doesn't come back until next week. So I'd play Stafford, but I'm not dropping Stroud.
Plus, that's a Sunday night game. So you won't know. Although I guess Stafford's on Monday, right? That's the Monday game.
Yeah. So
I guess you will know if Nico's back at that point. So if Nico is back, which you will know. If
Nico's back, I'm playing Stroud. Okay. Straight up. I'm playing Stroud. I think the game shoots out. That game probably goes sideways if Nico doesn't play, though.
Okay. Here's another question from Jake. He's in
What's up,
quarterback hell. Sorry to hear it, Jake. 6 points per touchdown here. Rodgers, Maye, Russ, or Flacco.
I mean, I don't think that's definitively hell. Like, I have like a lot of options there. I would play Rodgers this week. I'm going to have him as a top 12 quarterback. Arizona is terrible. I think if you're looking at, they played a much better secondary last week, and they had a really good second half. And I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, I think this is a game worm where the Jets come out and try to make a statement. This is one of those statement games of, if we're going to make a run, we need to get the vibes turned around. We need to put up 30 plus points. We need to sit here and put their foot down on the gas and run up the score versus the Cardinals. So I'm playing Aaron Rodgers.
To me, I would consider Maye if it was a better matchup. I don't like at Chicago for Drake
I don't
Maye.
like it.
And
I'm really hoping he runs a ton.
Yeah, you need a rushing touchdown essentially for Maye to be the choice. These guys are all back to back except Rodgers. It's Russell Wilson QB 21, Drake Maye QB 22, Joe Flacco QB 23. Rodgers is up at QB 14. So ECR sees this as an easy choice of Rodgers and
I got him at QB 11 right now,
especially 6 point touchdown.
Yeah.
I could see Rodgers having a multi-touchdown.
And I would honestly pick up Maye and then just stream those two guys for the rest of the season if you're having quarterback.
Yeah, I think you can get by with Rodgers and Maye as your duo rest of the season.
I do. Yeah, I agree.
I totally agree with that. Another question here. Start Ridley or Waddle in full PPR. Which one of those guys is the floor, which is the ceiling? We've already talked a bit about how you feel about Jaylen Waddle, but what about him in relation to Ridley?
Okay, so I think the floor goes with Ridley. I think the ceiling is Jaylen Waddle. And I know it sounds insane, like considering I was so anti-Waddle. Dude, I just don't like if Will Levis comes back, plus you have a terrible matchup. Like, I don't see much of a ceiling outcome despite a lot of volume for Calvin Ridley, considering the matchup this week. So that's where I have the hang up and be like, yes, I just been on this long rant about Jaylen Waddle not being good this year. Dude, he still has the talent. And he still is a better quarterback than Ridley has. And honestly, if he were to get the volume, a much better matchup. I don't know if he gets the volume. So I'm going Waddle over Ridley. I'm very low on Ridley this week.
Question here from Burke. Gesicki or Kincaid? And he does note that Josh Allen is his quarterback, so he has a stack there. If we go with Dalton Kincaid. With
both.
I was going to say
both.
I like Gesicki a lot this week, like given the matchup and also like the uncertain. I mean, it's doubtful, so it seems like Higgins isn't going to play unless I've missed an update that he's
no, he's not going to. He's not going to play.
It would be stunning to me if he did. So as Erickson put it yesterday, Gesicko mode this week.
It is. Grittying it up for the world to see, man. It's gonna be wonderful. So I'm going Gesicki over Kincaid. To be honest, I like both of them. Like my question is, who are you flexing this week? Because I think Dalton Kincaid is a fantastic flex. Like no Keon Coleman, maybe no Amari Cooper. It's gonna be Shakir and Kincaid, dude. Like Kincaid could score 2 touchdowns this week.
Yo pros, Johnny, Murray or Tua this week?
I'm going Murray just based off the rushing. Although I don't like Murray a ton this week.
I agree. I would go Kyler. I agree that I don't love Kyler.
Kyler's the floor option. Tua, if you're ceiling chasing for that game to shoot out, he'd be the ceiling option for me.
Kyler is down at QB 16 in ECR, by the way, with Tua at QB 12. But I think I would still go Kyler.
That's too high for Tua, to be honest. Like
I agree.
I think
they both should be giving.
I don't think that's giving enough love to how good the Rams pass rush has been. Like their top
Jared Verse is awesome.
Dude, they're top 2 in pressure rate and quarterback hurry rate, and that could really spell a lot of problems for Tua this week. Just depends on how well he navigates and how well their offensive line holds up.
Another question here, quick one. Lad or Tank Dell? Chargers have been throwing more last couple of weeks. Herbert looks really good.
All right, so if Nico plays, this is Lad.
This one we won't know, though, in time, unless they announce it early. But if it's a game time decision, we won't know yet.
Okay, so if Nico is out, then this is Tank. If Nico plays, then it's Lad. In most different instances, I'm probably just going with Lad versus a Tennessee pass funnel defense.
Yeah, I just think the Chargers they just look good the last couple weeks.
Herbert finally looks healthy.
Herbert looks amazing.
I know we don't want to say a lot of great things about a Greg Roman passing offense, but it's looked good.
Yeah. Just want to remind everybody to say goodbye to Start Sit Dilemmas with Fantasy Pros Start Sit Assistant. Within seconds, you'll know exactly who to play for optimal results each and every week. Leveraging insights from numerous experts, the Start Sit Assistant aligns your lineup decisions with the top minds in fantasy football, giving you a competitive edge. Maximize your lineup's potential with just a few clicks. Head to fantasypros.com/myplaybook or download the My Playbook app and make winning decisions in no time. The Start Sit Assistant, one of our best, most popular tools here at Fantasy Pros. All right, let's get into some more super chats here. Gesicki over McBride. Even I know we love Trey McBride on this show, but Jets bad matchup. Well, obviously, we said we're not very high on Kyler this week, and we do love the matchup for Gesicki. What do you think about this one?
I'm still playing McBride. I get the reasons not to. The strength of the Jets defense is not only their pass rush, it's their corners. How do you stay away from the corners? You throw to the freaking tight end over the middle of the field. So I'm still going with McBride. Like, I understand if you are absolute ceiling chasing, then I don't disagree with playing Gesicki. In most outcomes, I'm still playing McBride. And I understand all the reasons not to.
There are very few tight ends that I feel like I could be willing to sit or like that there are very few tight ends that I'm unwilling to sit in almost any scenario. Trey McBride is one of them.
Like you could play Gesicki over Bowers, and I would have no problem with that in a heartbeat. Fine, that's cool. But McBride, Kittle, and Travis Kelce, I'd have a lot of problems with that.
We got a question here from Emily. Full PPR, start 1. Darnell Mooney, Brian Thomas Jr., Josh Downs, Jaylen Waddle, flex 2 of Chuba, Brian Robinson, and any of those receivers. So need 1 receiver and 2 flexes out of that group of players.
Mooney's in for me, and then we're flexing. I'm probably going I'm playing Chuba in a fantastic matchup. So it's Mooney, Chuba, and I'm probably going Downs here. Although I think BTJ is in the conversation, but I'm worried about the quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say with Lawrence,
I'm playing Downs.
Yeah.
I'll play Downs.
To me, it's Mooney, Chuba, and then a decision between Downs and Brian Robinson is how I would approach it. Yeah. And I'm comfortable going Downs. I agree with that. It is, especially in full PPR.
Yeah, full PPR may also push the needle. If it was half, it'd be a little bit closer.
Makes a difference. Full, All right, how about this question from Jonathon, PPR as well? Sit 1 of James Cook, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin. Also, 1 tight end, Trey McBride or Hawkinson.
I'll sit Terry in that, but although it's really, really close. Playing James Cook, playing Cooper, and I'm playing McBride, man. Like, Hawk's still not a full-time player. Like, you know, we could talk about the matchups and stuff like that. He's still not 100%, you know?
That one's easier for me. I play McBride. Yeah. What about the quarterback part of the question, Stafford. Too? Danny Dimes, Stafford, or Russell Wilson?
I'm playing Stafford. Dude, like, I can make you a much better case to play Russell Wilson than playing Daniel Jones. Like, I just, again, dude, it could happen any week. Any week. Like, we can never, ever, ever rule it out. Daniel Jones going out there looking like he forgot how to play football and getting benched in the middle of the game, and then you're screwed. I'm playing Stafford.
All right, let's go to a question from Tyler. Start Cousins or Mahomes at quarterback. Stafford and Daniel Jones also available. He has Bijan, his opponent has London, so he's leaning Kirk for that reason.
Kirko Chains, baby. I'm playing Kirko.
You're going Kirk too.
I mean, he's been playing so ridiculously good, man.
What do you expect from Mahomes this week? I talked about this a little bit on the Thursday show as well, but like, again, not only was that an outlier for the Chiefs this last week, this best kind of offensive explosion, at least for Mahomes fantasy scoring, it was an outlier for the Denver defense, their first bad game really of the season. Now they've placed easier competition prior to that Ravens game, but they looked like a completely different defense we had seen the first 2 months of the season. So it's these two teams coming off of outliers each. What kind of direction do you think that game is going to go?
So I think, so the Denver pass defense struggled a lot because Surtain has been everything for them. Him taking away and erasing the top option. Now, to the credit to your Baltimore Ravens, Worm, they moved Zay Flowers into the slot 60%, and he avoided Surtain. Like, saw him on like a quarter of his routes. So he wasn't even a factor. I think, and we still think that Andy Reid is really, really sharp, really smart. DeAndre Hopkins played almost half of his snaps. I think it was somewhere around 50% of his snaps in the slot last week. if you're Kansas City and you just saw what happened and you saw Surtain is not going to go into the slot, why would you not bump up DeAndre Hopkins slot usage into the 60 to 65% range? Let Xavier Worthy pull his best MBS impression, or Demarcus Robinson, and run all the cardio routes on the outside. Him and Justin Watson can do that all day. And the targets are going to go to Kelsey, and the targets are going to go to Hopkins. And I think both of them walk away with good games. So I'm actually probably higher on Mahomes than probably a lot of people considering the matchup.
Yeah. Another question here. Half PPR, Xavier Legette or Pop Douglas?
Legette. I'm going Legette. The Giants cannot. They keep asking Deontay Banks to shadow, and Deontay Banks can run with a receiver. He can follow him all over the field and then give up tons of production. So it is what it is, man. That's one of those situations where it's like the shadow coverage actually helps the wide receiver. Usually doesn't work that way.
Here's one from Sean.
Sean?
Pros. Sean. PPR. He needs one wide receiver, one running back, and flex. Harrison, Jennings, Waddle, Hunt, Tracy, White. What do you think, Debra? So one wide receiver. I hear
Sean and I think of Bluey, and I know you're not going to get that reference because you don't have kids and watch Bluey consistently. But I think of.
I have nephews who watch Bluey, but I have not watched it with them. So yeah, I'm aware of this show. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's all you need to know. So one running back, one wide receiver, and a flex. I am playing Hunt is in, Tracy is in. So now we're gonna head to wide receivers.
I agree with that. By the way, I think Hunt and Tracy are the easy two.
I'm playing Marv. I just don't think Juwan is still fully healthy. I still don't even know if he plays this week. So
it's a tough matchup for Marvin Harrison.
It is. It's tough, man. But I don't even know, like, if Jennings isn't fully healthy, like, what's his snap rate look like? Does he even play? So, you got really good running back options that hopefully can kind of carry your lineup this week.
Yeah,
so
Hunt and Tracy are both excellent.
Tracy should be a running back one this week. I'm going to throw that out there for people. Like, he's going to
the matchup. Yeah.
Yes, he's going to absolutely crush. It's a flop-like situation.
Question here from Josh. Hey, Josh. PPR, Brian Thomas Jr. or Jaylen Waddle. A lot of Jaylen Waddle questions this week.
A lot of Waddle questions. Yeah. I blame this on Andrew Erickson.
I was going to say, I'm not entirely surprised. I think it's a good name.
It's a good matchup, and he's been bad. So people are like, do we play him or do we not?
Yeah.
If Mac, we haven't. Have I missed this? Have we definitively gotten the word that Mac Jones is going to start, or is this all speculation? Because I haven't heard anywhere that he is definitively going to start.
You mean as opposed to a different backup, or do you mean
versus Lawrence being definitively out this week?
The last report I saw was that Lawrence was unlikely to play. I haven't seen anything official, but that was the last I saw.
Okay.
Unlikely.
So if you need the ceiling, I'm playing Waddle. And I know this is, I have not been pro Waddle, but I just worry about if Mac Jones is under center. I worry about what he's going to do versus the Brian Flores defense. I have a lot of concerns there. And this is a really bad coverage shell matchup for Brian Thomas Jr. I'm going to drop him a lot of ranks with Mac Jones.
Trying to pull up. I saw a report on at FantasyPros NFL earlier from our news feed. We have two. Oh yeah. Mac Jones could be Jaguar starter in week 10. Trevor Lawrence shoulder likely to miss week 10. So that's the most recent update that I've seen.
Yeah. Play Waddle. Screw it. You're going to roll the dice.
Yeah, I think that's the right call given the quarterback. If not for the quarterback situation, I would disagree.
No, if it was Lawrence, I'd be playing BTJ.
Yeah. By the way, just to quickly remind everyone, if you are late to the stream, weren't here with us at the beginning, just a reminder that we are not able to guarantee answers to super chats at this point. As always, we do really thank you for your support. We are going to get to as many as we can, and our goal is to answer all of them and as many other questions as we possibly can too. But just wanted to remind you that we can't guarantee it if those questions come in after the first 10 minutes. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. Let's dive into some more questions here from Peter. Dropped Hawk for Gesicki. Starter is Bowers. Is that good?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Gesicki's been awesome, and he's going to continue to be awesome. Love it.
Yeah. Here's from Kyle. If I traded Lamar, would you rock with Love rest of season in one QB league?
Yep. Because he's been awesome when he's been healthy.
Lamar is enough of a difference maker that I want to get a real piece back. Like even in a one QB league,
better be getting a wide receiver one or an RB1.
But if you can do that, then yes, I think this is a smart move to make.
Agreed.
All right, from Joel, Ricky Pearsall or Pop Douglas or Waddle or Ferguson.
I'm probably going Waddle in this. Pearsall, I think he could be the 4th or 5th option in that passing attack. Pop, it's a bad matchup. He's gotten targets, but he hasn't done a ton with them with Drake May. Bad matchup. And Ferguson's got freaking Cooper Rush. I would rather roll the dice on Waddle this week, even though I've talked him down a lot. I'll just take the dice roll.
You've talked him down a lot, but there are certain scenarios where you're still willing to play him. It's not like
the upside is there. That's the thing. It's like the floor is basement level for Jaylen Waddle. Is the upside there in any week for him to go off? Because the talent hasn't gone anywhere. That's not my problem with Jaylen Waddle. It's the fact that they are not running their passing attack through him. That's the problem. But if he gets targets, yeah, he's still crazy talented.
Yeah. How about this question from Tammy? Pick 2 wide receivers: Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., Tank Dell, DJ Moore. It is a standard league.
Assuming London plays, this is London and Tank Dell quite easily. DJ Moore is going to get shadowed by Christian Gonzalez. So
give me who you're starting if London ends up not playing.
Dell and probably Marv. I want no part of DJ Moore versus Christian Gonzalez. And Caleb Williams has been playing terrible.
And obviously, like we just said, Brian Thomas Jr., the tough quarterback situation.
Dude. Yeah. Over under 140 passing yards for Mac Jones versus that defense.
Oh my gosh, under.
Yeah, I'm inclined to kind of take the under.
I will be. Good for Mac Jones. If he proves me wrong, I will be stunned if he's at 150 passing yards in this game.
I know. I'm going to slam the under once they post the line.
Yeah. All right. From Matthew, D Johnson, I guess that's Deontay Johnson, JSN, Alexander Madison, James Conner, Kamara, and Reed. Oh, trade here. Okay,
you got to
the
trade
all the way through. Yes, sorry. Deontay Johnson, JSN, Madison, and Conner for Kamara and Reed.
Oh, I'm taking the Deontay side easily. Like JSN and Conner, I think is probably straight up close. But you're getting all those different parts of pieces. Like
I think this is entirely dependent on your evaluation of JSN. If you think that this was
I think it's dependent upon your evaluation also of Jaden Reed. Like,
I guess I was thinking he was more consensus kind of agreed upon.
I mean, he's been pretty bad before last week.
It's a good point, actually. It's a good point. The JSN, I feel like there's been more conversation on in terms of like, we talked about him as a sell high on the Tuesday show. I know Erickson feels that way, like DK Metcalf coming back. Having said that, maybe the cat's just out of the bag and he's just a stud, which I thought he was coming out of college. He looked so good in this week 9 game.
I mean, the other thing is we could say, was there a role change for JSN? Instead of feeding him three-yard A-dot targets, they used him down the field, and he responded with a wonderful game as the number one option. Yeah. So, like, to me,
I lean with you, by the way. I just know
you get shoved into the number one wide receiver chair, and you were given a different role. There, either you put up or shut up, and he freaking put it up, dude. So, like, to me, I don't think that's going away.
I'll be really curious.
Like, not that he's the wide receiver one, but the change in the role.
I'll be really curious what we see out of Deontay Johnson tonight. Honestly, now that he's had a week, with the team to practice and everything, like I wonder what the vision
that much
is
different
for him in Baltimore. It might not be. I'm not even making a prediction on it. I'm just
over
curious.
Under 40% of the snaps played. Where are you at, Worm? And you're dialed into the team, so you tell me 40% is probably a good line. We're over or under.
I would probably say over for one reason, and that's because Isaiah Likely is out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more 3 wide receiver sets. Having said that, Nelson Aguilar is not a bad player, and
Charlie Coller's the size too.
I was just gonna say they like other guys too at tight end. So like I think that's a good line, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't really use him. I'm just very curious to see what it looks like now that it's not the week of the trade. All right, let's go to your boy Dev. Need 2 running backs and a flex, 10-man PPR. He has Achane, Gibbs, Brees, and CMC. Doesn't know who to sit. Drafted the first 3 and then traded for CMC. They hate me right now. I can see why. So you got to sit one of them. It is PPR.
CMC.
I was gonna say it's probably has to be CMC.
I mean, and this is something I'm like. Here's the thing: in every other league, are you starting CMC if he is active? Yes. But every other team doesn't have 3 running backs. They're in the top Worm? Like, all of these guys are in the top 10, top 8 of ECR? Like,
they are.
You got 3 RB1s. So the guy that we have questions about is going to be sitting on the bench.
RB5, RB7. Jahmyr Gibbs is actually RB10.
I know, but it's three top 10 options.
3 top 10,
and CMC is not in the top 10. So you go with
I think it's got to be CMC just for no other reason than like you don't know what it's going to look like first.
And if he plays 40% of the snaps and he gets vultured a rushing touchdown, like those things can happen. Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's go. Love the name. Half PPR bench 1: Hill, Debo, Mooney, Achane, James Cook, Kareem Hunt, or Tyrone Tracy.
Mooney. I don't like it, but Mooney.
I agree. I'm trying to think of if I can make the case for anybody else. I agree. I think it's Mooney.
Hunt's going to get 30 opportunities this week because that's what he does.
Yeah. All right, another question here. Gesicki or Worthy? So flex decision here. And then also Johnston or Jennings.
Gesicki easily, and Johnston, QJ right now, because I don't even know if Jennings plays.
Debro, Derek Brown outscored Xavier Worthy last week.
I know. I had a fantastic Sunday.
Yeah, you really crushed it.
I was so good, man. Nobody can get me on slant routes. Big body and everybody just.
I pointed this out on the
Thursday. My best to kill Harry out there, baby.
I pointed this out on the Thursday show. I have never seen this before. Number this big. We have a column in the game logs of players, and it shows the positional finish during the week. Xavier Worthy was wide receiver 156. I have never seen a number that high in any of our game logs before. I mean, he had a negative. It makes sense.
But, I know, but like outside the 90s, you're like, oh, it goes up that high. Okay.
Well, sorry, I didn't catch if you did. Did you answer Johnston or Jennings?
Yeah, it's Johnston. I don't even know if Jennings plays this week. If he plays, then if he's gonna be a full go, then it's Jennings. But we don't know that right now.
Okay. Another question here from Frippy. Hope y'all are doing good. I hope you're doing well too. He has Chase Brown, Tracy, Amon-Ra, and Shakir starting. Should he put Ramondre or Juwan Jennings in as the flex?
Oh, Mondre. It's Mondre. And I'm actually high. I already bet I'm actually high on Mondre this week. I already bet his over for rushing yards. This is a sneaky good matchup for Ramondre Stevenson. So people go bet his over on rushing yards. If you can get decent odds, ladder him. But this is easy Mondre in the flex.
All right. Another question here. Who at the flex? Deontay Johnson, Xavier Worthy, or Demario Douglas?
I'm playing Pop because he's going to give you a floor. There's a ceiling outcome there. Deontay, I don't even know if he plays. Yeah, we're most certain about he's going to give you 10 to 12 points, most likely. Deontay and Worthy, I can't say that for.
Yeah. I think got this question earlier. McBride or Gesicki, was that one of the we've had questions about both those guys.
We've had a few, but it wasn't this one. I'm playing McBride over Gesicki, although Gesicki is flex worthy depending your options. Yeah. And I'm playing
you can see his options here. Yeah, Monty or Puka.
If we get news that Puka is going to be a full-time player, like say this comes in on Saturday or there's no bad news, I'm playing Puka. But if you wanted to go the floor route, I don't disagree going Monty. It really just comes down to floor. Like how much risk are you willing to absorb in your lineup and how much ceiling do you need?
Another question here. Half PPR Chase Brown or J.K. Dobbins?
Chase Brown. Both of them are in terrible matchups. I believe more in the snap share, the talent, and the touchdown equity in Chase Brown and the pass game usage.
Yeah. How much do you think we see of Herbert tonight?
Not much. Like he hasn't been there long enough. You're probably going to see like
I heard this
of the snaps, maybe like 4 carries.
I don't know if this was a known thing. I heard Field Yates say this on a podcast earlier this week. So shouts to him for the stat. 100% of running back snaps this season for Cincinnati have been Chase Brown or Zach Moss. Nobody else in the backfield has had any usage, literally at all.
Not even Travion Williams.
I didn't go and confirm the stat, but I trust Field, and that's what he said. So unless you think Chase Brown is playing 100% of the snaps, 5 days after their last game on Sunday, there's got to be something for Herbert, right? Just throwing it out there.
Oh well, first of all, that's not right. Travion Williams played.
Let me down.
Travion Williams played 7 snaps in week 9. I was like, I thought.
You know what? I think he said before the Moss injury. I think he said prior to week 9.
Oh, okay.
I think he said before.
All right. Context. Field is right.
Good point. That's a good point.
All right. Yeah. Context is important.
Yeah. So just throwing it out there that like they do not really have any faith in anybody else in that backfield. So maybe Herbert
has not been there long enough to like take a large snap role. Like he just hasn't.
Question from Mikey. Would you trade Tyreek for Neighbors? It is half PPR.
I would do that.
I would do that as well. I'm slightly worried about Neighbors.
I think you can get Neighbors and a plus. I think you can get something else with Neighbors.
You might be right. I'm a little worried about Neighbors just with Andrew Thomas and like just the whole state of the offense concerns me. Just throwing it out there. I do want to remind everybody about one of our cool new tools. If you're wondering if your injured players are suiting up, check out our Are They Playing tool. It uses AI and years of injury data to give you an accurate prediction on whether an injured player will play. Sync your league and get a simple report for all your players on the practice report throughout the week. Best of all, it's available to everyone for free. Stop sweating the Sunday inactives and get ahead of those tough lineup decisions by visiting fantasypros.com/are-they-playing. Very cool tool. I use it.
Speaking of one of our earlier questions, per the tool, Drake London is at 81%. Now, this needs to be updated for Thursday reports, but based off of him opening the week, 81% to play this week.
81. Yeah, it's pretty good. We'll see. And that does adjust throughout the week, by the way.
Yes, it does. As we get more
practice info.
As we get more practice info and stuff like that, the tool gets sharper and sharper the closer we go.
Next question here. Pick one for my flex. Terry, Chase Brown, Lad McConkey, or DeAndre Hopkins. All good options, in my opinion.
All good options. Oh, God.
Only picking one. That's tough.
Yeah, I know. I'm going Terry McLaurin.
Probably has to be Terry McLaurin.
He's almost like, dude, I got him ranked as a wide receiver 1. I understand Joey Porter could shadow him. He at this point, with how he's playing and how Jaden Daniels is playing, he's almost matchup proof, dude. Like it's almost impossible to freaking sit him.
I would say, man, I like all these options.
It's him versus Chase Brown is what it comes down to.
Chase Brown is going to get so much usage, and like that Ravens defense, it has been banged up the last couple of weeks. Some of those guys are getting healthier, but it's a short week now, so you never know how that's going to pan out. Like
it just comes down to like
Michael Pierce. I'm worried about their run defense to a degree. So
I would go ceiling and floor here. Like for me, the floor play with the volume is Chase Brown. If you need the absolute ceiling, it's McLaurin. That's the context I would give for this. So it just depends on what you need.
All right, question here from Mark. PPR, he has Nico Collins. Does he stick
might not play
Demarcus Robinson in his flex because they play on Monday, or just have Jordan Mason in the final?
D-Rob. I mean, if CMC, and this comes down to like, obviously the underscore here is if CMC doesn't play, you're playing Mason. So that's the obvious part of this. Assuming Mason is going to be the full go and stuff. I got to catch up on 49ers practice reports, but Nico's probably going to be out, so I'm playing Demarcus Robinson. But again, the context with CMC does fall in line here. If CMC is out, then this is easy Mason. But if CMC plays, then I'm playing Demarcus Robinson.
All right, question from Jesse. Bucky Irving or Raheem Mostert at running back, flex, Rome Odunze, Xavier Legette, Demario Douglas, or Khalil Shakir?
Bucky. San Francisco has been quietly terrible versus receiving backs. They're top 12 in receiving yards and yards per reception allowed to running backs. So I'm going to have Rashad White and Bucky Irving ranked above consensus this week.
For the flex, I mean, I feel like it's either Rome or Shakir.
It's Shakir.
I mean, it is Shakir, but Rome's the only one I would even make a case.
Keon's hurt.
Yeah.
Cooper, we don't know if he plays. And
the answer Shakir.
Plays. Yeah. I don't know if it matters. Shakir has been awesome over the last few games. Like he's probably going to be a top 24, top 20 wide receiver for me this week. So Shakir.
All right, from Pete Wheeler. I hope that's a backyard baseball reference. Hill or Gesicki in standard?
Is that Tyreek?
Maybe Taysom. Maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe it's Taysom.
Talking tight ends.
Pete, we need full names here. Give me full names.
Can't even say T Hill because it's still Tyreek.
Taysom. You can go that route.
Well, all right. So if it's Taysom, then you go Gesicki, and if it's Tyreek, then you go Tyreek.
Yes, Tyreek, or if it's Taysom versus Gesicki, it's Gesicki.
All right, here a question from Q. Start J.K. Dobbins or Tank Dell if Nico is out. Hard to answer because we won't know. Well, maybe we will know for sure by the time we get to Sunday. I don't know. We'll see what it certainly doesn't seem like.
Based off the news, I think Nico is going to be out. I'm playing Tank Dell.
I'm operating under the assumption Nico is not playing.
Yeah. And I got to go update the primer tonight. But
so would you play Tank Dell then over Dobbins with Nico?
Yeah. This is easy Tank Dell. Dobbins is in a terrible matchup, and plus the Chargers they've leaned more pass heavy, and now they're versus a pass funnel defense, which also L'Jarius Sneed is still not practicing. So I think it's going to be wheels up for Herbert.
Yeah. What do you think about this one? We've talked a lot about Gesicki. Cade Otton has been on such a roll. Would you play Gesicki over
Cade Otton? No, it's Cade Otton.
No,
dude, Cade Otton has been getting a 30% first read share as the number one in this offense. Just to give context for people that are not in spreadsheets and nerds, that is alpha level wide receiver 1 type of first read share. Like that is beyond elite.
Where do you have him ranked this week at tight end?
Ooh, good question. I have got him, Mr. Alton. Where are you at? He's probably top.
He's tight end 3 in ECR.
Good Lord.
He's behind only George Kittle and Travis Kelce in ECR.
Here, I'm pulling up ranks right now. I have got him. I got him at tight end 4. I've just got him behind McBride. I just look, he's been really damn good. I can't push him above McBride. I get I understand all the reasons to not, but I can't push him above McBride.
Yeah. How about Debo, excuse me, or Chase Brown at the flex?
Chase Brown. Again, Debo's limited. We still don't have firm confirmation he's going to play. Like he did go through the bye week. He did leave their last game hurt. So I'll just take the volume of Chase Brown.
Here's a question from Chris. Do I trade AJ Brown for Tyreek or maybe Nico rest of the season?
No. If you wanted to go Nico, I understand it. But honestly, dude, I feel like we're splitting hairs here. I feel like if this is you're taking the same kind of player to trade for a different. This feels like kind of like making a trade just to make a trade. Like AJ Brown sounds like he's going to be fine. And if we're assuming he's going to be fine, then I'm going to take him over what we've seen out of Tyreek with Tua back. And I'm going to take him over Nico, who again is not going to play. So you need somebody who's going to play this week. I think AJ Brown plays. And if he plays, he's going to crush.
I think I am inclined to agree. How about Herbert or Bo Nix at quarterback?
Herbert. Easy, Herbert. Herbert's probably gonna be a top 12 quarterback for me. When all
Fitz has him QB 8 right now.
I'm gonna have him. I'm looking at my ranks right now, and I've got Herbert at QB 13. Live updating that right now. I've got him. I'm bumping him up to QB 11 for the week, but I think the conversation starts for him as high as QB 6 or 7.
How about Gesicki or Andrews, full PPR?
Gesicki, easy Gesicki.
So the one reason I'll make the case for Andrews,
likely being out, I think helps, but I think Kohler is just going to take over the likely role. So I don't think it's going to be a change for Andrews, to be honest.
I think you're probably right. I think Andrews has a reasonable chance of getting a touchdown in this game, but Gesicki will get the usage.
Yeah, Gesicki is going to be. I mean, Gesicki is going to operate as the wide receiver too, like he's done every single game without T. Higgins.
So how about Andrews or Hockenson then?
Andrews. Hockenson, he's going to play less snaps and he's less effective, man. Yeah.
How about Devonta Smith, Tank Dell, or Josh Downs?
So this is assuming Smitty plays, which he came back to practice today. I know he opened the week with a DMP, but assuming he plays, I'm going Devonta Smith.
That I would agree. And then Dell versus Downs, what would you do with those two?
It's Dell over Downs, and that's with assuming Nico is out.
Yeah. How about this one? Definitely is Taysom Hill, not Tyreek Hill. Taysom Hill or Ray Davis.
Thank you, Nate. Full name. Love it. Yeah, it's Taysom. We're playing Taysom easy.
Yeah.
Taysom, and just for everybody, if you're wondering, that Taysom Hill game, what was the week that he got the 2 rushing scores? It was versus Atlanta. And guess what? That's who they play this week. So, Taysom week again.
How about from Gabriel? Pickens, Jameson Williams, or Devontae Smith in half PPR?
Ooh. It's a lot of good options. I'm going Smitty. Second option would be Pickens if you're looking for flex and stuff. So,
and this one from Paul: Rico Dowdle, DJ Moore, Xavier Legette, or Calvin Ridley?
Ooh, I'm playing Rico for the volume, but I don't like it.
Yeah. I know you're really out on DJ Moore.
I'm just out on DJ Moore because he's going to get shadowed by Gonzalez, who's been good, and then Caleb has not been playing good football. So,
what do you make of? Again, we talked about this on the main Thursday show, which I hope everybody listens to. With Erickson and Fitz. What do you make of like the vibes around DJ Moore? Like even aside from the matchup this week, like the body language has been terrible lately. I
mean, dude, he's just tired of getting open and not getting the damn ball thrown his direction. I can totally understand that. Like. Now, is that something that we can have a conversation? Is that something that needs to be handled in the locker room and not spill over to the field? Fine. But the other context about that is maybe that's already been talked about in the locker room between these two guys, and now it's firmly spilling over onto the field. So for me, considering what we've seen out of Caleb, bro, just play in structure. When wide receivers are open, instead of running 17 circles around the freaking field and playing backyard flag football, throw the ball. Please throw the ball.
How do you really feel?
Oh, Seth, come on. Do you feel any different? Come on. Seth is a suffering Bears fan. He's shaking his head. No, he understands.
Shouts to producer Seth. How about this question from Jesse? Bears or Rams defense?
Bears. I'll go Bears. They've been really good. I understand the reasons for the Rams that they get a lot of pressure. I just talked them up. I'm still going to lean on a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it's the Bears.
And it's not like Drake May. Like we're talking about Drake May well in circles for fantasy because he's running the dang ball. That doesn't mean as a passer he's played extremely well. And yes, I saw the Caleb Williams-esque play where he ran around in 17 circles and threw a touchdown to Ramondre. That's not every play.
Yeah. Seth is putting in the chat for us that you're spot on with Caleb.
Yeah. I mean, dude, DJ Moore ran around and did the scramble drill with him. And if everybody goes back and watches that, Caleb had him where he could have hit him on the sideline, and he just didn't. He turned around and ran a different direction, and DJ Moore just walked off. Actually, people are making so much out of that. DJ Moore limped off the field, so you could also make the narrative of he wasn't just walking off because he was ticked off. He was walking off because he was hurt. So, again, people are making narratives where I think there is none, but Caleb needs to own some of the L's here.
Yeah. We've got 1 minute
love you,
left.
Seth. Thank you for that.
We've got like 1 minute left. Let's squeeze in a couple questions here and get out. Excuse me, then get out of here. Is Dak droppable?
Yes. He's droppable.
Yeah, I think he is too. Bucky or
by the way, James Jones, all hamstring injuries are not created equal, sir. So just, with all the shade in the media, trying to get your clips out there, bud.
Bucky or Dowdle, full PPR?
Bucky. I think people would be surprised by that, but I'm
you're very in on this matchup.
I mean, dude, pass catching running backs, Baker is going to pepper them versus the 49ers.
Yeah. All right, we'll do a final question here from Recyclops.
Recyclops, where the hell you been, man? Come on.
Bro Baggins. Fantastic.
I swear he's almost to the point where Googling stuff at this point because it's been every week and they've all been absolute fire.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. 2 trade questions here. Number 1, half PPR, give Darnold and McLaurin for Lamar Jackson.
Done. Depending on your wide receivers, but done.
If you have quality receivers also, that is a definite yes for me.
Yes.
Number 2, full PPR, give Kyron for McLaurin, Etienne, and Adunze. He's lost Olave and Nico. Other running backs are Swift and Pollard.
I don't want any part of Etienne. Get somebody else thrown into that trade that is not named Travis Etienne. Yeah. I don't want any part of him the rest of the season. McLaurin and Adunze, I agree. I would counter and try to get yourself McLaurin and like an RB2. Somebody you could buy low on or go to somebody else with this offer. Rico, rest of season, has an awesome schedule. He is a really good buy low. If you can get like a high-end wide receiver 2 and Rico for McLaurin or for Kyron, I would do that move and walk away from this deal. I don't want any part of Etienne.
The first trade, a definite yes for me. And I think
like Etienne is a non-zero sum for me. Like I'm just, that does nothing for that trade for me. Like that's just window dressing to be like, hey, I added somebody, right? Haha. Like, so what?
All right, we'll wrap up there. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the questions that you sent in. Super fun, and really appreciate just all the support and everybody watching and going along. Best of luck to everybody in Week 10. Debro, I look forward to taping another pod with you tomorrow, so hope everybody checks that out as well. And by the way, as I said earlier, if you didn't get your question answered, please go to Discord. We will answer all of your questions there as many as we possibly can. The guys are on there like basically 24/7 answering questions. You can tweet at us too, but Discord is pretty much the best way besides these live streams to get your question answered. So please go there, fantasypros.com/chat. But yeah, Debra, look forward to talking with you later in the week. For Derek Brown, I'm Ryan Wormeli. Thanks to everybody again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
What kind of dryer sheets do you use? Are you a Gain guy?
Oh my gosh.
Are you? Come on. So are you telling me you don't? Do you use nothing? Are you that type of psycho?
I don't use dryer sheets.